Jared's fascination with the deep sea began when he was a child, watching documentaries about the mysterious creatures that lurked in the ocean's black depths. Now, as a marine biologist, he was finally going to live his childhood dream. The National Marine Exploration Institute had organized an expedition to a newly discovered trench in the Pacific Ocean, deeper than the Mariana Trench. They named it the Abyssal Crevasse. The research vessel, aptly named the Abyss Explorer, was state-of-the-art, equipped with advanced sonar, submersibles, and laboratories. Jared was part of a small, elite team of scientists, each an expert in their field. Their mission, to explore the uncharted depths and discover new forms of life. The day of the descent was filled with a mix of excitement and tension. The crew gathered around the main deck as the submersible, Neptune, was prepared for its journey. Jared and two other scientists, Dr. Elaine Carter and Dr. Zhao, were selected for the first dive. The descent was slow and meticulous. As they passed the known depths, the sunlight faded and the water grew colder. Jared watched the sonar screen intently, eager to catch the first signs of the unknown. At around 10,000 meters, the submersible's lights pierced the inky blackness, revealing strange, bioluminescent creatures that danced around them. "It's beautiful," Elaine whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "Keep your eyes on the sonar," Marcus reminded them. "We don't know what's down here." Suddenly, the sonar beeped loudly. Something massive was moving below them. The screen showed a large, amorphous shape that seemed to undulate and writhe. Could it be a whale? Jared speculated. At this depth? Unlikely, Marcus replied, his voice tense. As they descended further, the shape became clearer. It was a mass of tentacles and what appeared to be a cavernous maw filled with rows of rare sharp teeth. Jared's heart raced as he realized they were staring at a creature unlike anything documented before. "Get the cameras rolling," Elaine instructed, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. The creature moved with a grace that belied its terrifying appearance. It circled the submersible, its tentacles brushing against the reinforced glass. Jared felt a chill run down his spine as he locked eyes with what seemed to be the creator's face, a skull-like visage with hollow, black eyes. "Is it intelligent?" Marcus wondered aloud. "Let's hope not," Jared muttered, his hands gripping the controls tightly. Suddenly, the creature attacked. Its tentacles wrapped around the submersible, shaking it violently. The lights flickered, and alarms blared as the hull groaned under the pressure. "Surface! Surface now!" Elaine screamed. Jared hit the emergency ascent button, and the submersible shot upward, the creature still clinging to them. Just as they broke free, one of the tentacles smashed the front viewport, and water began to pour in. They breached the surface, and the Abyss Explorer's crew scrambled to pull the submersible on board. Jared, Elaine, and Marcus were dragged out, soaked and shaking. The submersible was heavily damaged, its reinforced glass shattered. "What the hell was that?" Captain Reynolds demanded, staring at the wreckage. "A nightmare," Jared replied, his voice hollow. "We need to analyze the footage." As they reviewed the video, the creator's full horror was revealed. It was unlike any known species, a monstrous hybrid of deep-sea predator and ancient terror. The more they watched, the more they realized it was hunting them, intelligent and malevolent. Against their better judgment, the team decided to return to the Abyssal Crevasse. They reinforced the submersible and armed it with harpoons and electric shocks, hoping to defend themselves. "We need to understand this creature," Marcus argued. "It could be a breakthrough in marine biology." Reluctantly, Jared agreed. The descent was even more nerve-wracking than before. They reached same depth, the creature nowhere in sight. "Maybe it moved on," Elaine suggested, though she sounded unconvinced. As if on cue, the sonar beeped again. The creature was back, but this time it wasn't alone. Dozens of similar beings surrounded them, their bioluminescent bodies glowing eerily in the dark water. The creatures attacked in unison. The submersible rocked violently as the team tried to fend them off with their makeshift defenses. The harpoons barely slowed them, and the electric shock seemed to anger them more. "We need to abort," Marcus yelled, but it was too late. The creatures tore into the submersible, breaching the hull. Water flooded in, and the sub began to implode under the pressure. Jared blacked out. When he came to, he was in a dark, damp cavern. He could hear the sound of dripping water and the faint, eerie hum of the creatures. His head throbbed and his body ached. "Jared, you're awake." Elaine's voice broke through the darkness. "Where are we?" He groaned, struggling to sit up. "In their lair, I think," she replied, her voice shaking. "They brought us here." Jared's eyes adjusted to the dim light. The cavern was filled with strange, bioluminescent plants. They moved around, seemingly uninterested in their captives for now. "We need to find a way out," Marcus said, his voice grim. "Before they decide we're next on the menu." As they explored the cavern, they discovered something horrifying. The remains of previous expeditions, human bones picked clean, scattered among the rocks. "God, how long have they been down here?" Elaine whispered, horrified. "Too long," Jared replied, his resolve hardening. "We need to get back to the surface and warn the world." The trio moved cautiously, avoiding the creatures as best they could. They found what seemed to be an underwater tunnel, leading upwards. With no other options, they decided to risk it. The journey through the tunnel was harrowing. The water was frigid, and the pressure was immense. Jared felt his lungs burning, his vision dimming. Just when he thought he couldn't go any further, they broke through to the surface. They were miles from the Abyss Explorer, but it was still in sight. They swam desperately, every moment expecting the creatures to drag them back down. When they finally reached the ship, the crew hauled them aboard, stunned and horrified by their condition. "We need to leave now," Jared gasped. Captain Reynolds didn't hesitate. The ship's engines roared to life, and they sped away from the Abyssal Crevasse. Back on dry land, Jared, Elaine, and Marcus became reluctant celebrities, their story making headlines around the world. The footage they brought back was studied intensely, but no further expeditions were planned to the Abyssal Crevasse. The area was declared off-limits, a no-go zone for any future explorers. Jared often stared out at the ocean, a shiver running down his spine. He knew they had only scratched the surface of the horrors that lay beneath. The creatures were still down there, waiting, watching. And they were not alone. As night fell, Jared couldn't shake the feeling that the abyss was staring back, its monstrous eyes unblinking, biding its time until it could rise again and claim what it believed was its own.